Now in this session I will try to directly execute this sample in my Visual Studio. Whatever the code I have written in the for loop, I will try to show you the same thing in the Visual Studio. I already told you that always the for loop code has to be written inside the function body. So what I will do here is I will try to create a page, HTML page with the name for loop example1.html, and inside that HTML file I will try to create a submit button, and when the end user clicks on submit button I will try to call a dummy JavaScript function, and inside the JavaScript function, maybe inside the fn1, I will try to define this array, and I will try to write this for loop, and I will try to show you the result. I have to get the result something like this by using the for loop. Okay, so anyhow, before writing this sample I just wanted to explain one more important point related to loop over here. The point is about this conditional statement. You observe carefully, in this conditional statement I have written I less than 4. You tell me why I have written I less than 4? Because my array is having only 4 cells. I am starting the I value from 0. Obviously I will be writing I less than 4. So my for loop body will be executed for 4 times. Now if you observe carefully this point, if I write I less than 4, this for loop code will work properly only when the array is having 4 elements. In case if my array is having either 3 elements or more than 4 elements, obviously my for loop code will not give the correct result. It means that writing this 4 is not a good approach. We need to identify the total number of cells present in the array by using a programmatic approach. How to identify the total number of cells present in the array? Very simple. You will be writing array variable name dot, that is nos dot. In the Visual Studio, when you type dot, you will get IntelliSense window. In the IntelliSense window, you will observe some properties like length or count. I am not very much sure. So you have to use that property for identifying the total number of cells count. I will try to use this either length property or count property while writing the code in my Visual Studio. Right? So now you observe, I will be showing the same sample in my Visual Studio. Now I am opening my Visual Studio for showing this same example in the Visual Studio. Now I will create a new website for showing this sample. I have given the name of this sample as JS for loop sample. Maybe I'll write one also. Let me click on OK. Now in the Solution Explorer, I will right click on this website name. I will click on add new item, and I will click on HTML page. I will give the page name as for loop sample1.html, and let me click on add. In the created file, in the body section of this HTML file, I will create submit button like this, and in the header section I will write script tag, and I will create a JavaScript function. I will try to call the JavaScript function from on click event of this button, and inside this function I will declare nos array, maybe with the data 180, 90, 60, 50. You can give any data and any numbers also. After this I will write for loop for I is equals to 0, I less than 4, I plus plus, open curly bracket, end curly bracket. But anyhow, writing 4 here is an incorrect approach, because when I write I less than 4 over here, this for loop will work only when the array is having 4 elements. In case if I change the total number of elements over here, again we need to change this code here. So which is not a good approach. We need to identify the total number of cells present in the array dynamically by using programmatic approach. How to identify? Very simple. You write nos dot. This is called as IntelliSense window. You type nos dot. Once you type nos dot, in the Visual Studio you will get the IntelliSense window. You observe these are all functions. So you just observe these symbols. If you observe this kind of symbols anywhere in the Visual Studio IntelliSense window, these items are called as functions. Similar way, if you come down, you will see a property called a length. Length is not a function, it is just a property, and hence you will be writing like this. So this NOS dot length will give you the total number of cells count present in the array. Now inside the for loop you will be writing alert NOS of I, right, something like this. So you only tell me how many times for loop body will be executed. Obviously for loop body will be executed for 4 times. It means that alert function will be called for 4 times. Is it a good practice to call the alert function for multiple times? Answer is no. Why? Because whenever alert function is called, one small pop-up box will come and there the result will be displayed, and without closing that alert box remaining code will not be executed. Once we close the first alert box, again for loop will be executed, again one more alert box will be displaying the second result. Okay, so after displaying second alert box, again we have to close the second alert box, then only for loop code will be executed further, right? So that is the reason why you have to close this alert box almost for 4 times. What I will do here is, instead of explaining directly, I will try to directly send this page code to the browser, and there I will directly execute the code so that you will understand the point. Now when I click on view in browser, my browser is opening over here. Now we got the result in the browser, right? You can able to see the result over here. Okay, so in the browser now we got for loop sample1.html page output, right? Now let me click on submit button. Before clicking on submit button, I will just show you the received HTML and JavaScript code. So this is the received JavaScript and HTML code. When the end user clicks on submit button, because of this on click, call will go to fn1 function and this loop will be executed for 4 times. Now you observe, I clicked on submit button, I am getting 180. If I click on OK, again I will be getting another alert box which is displaying 90. Again, which is one more alert box is coming which is displaying 60. Next alert box, when I click on that, it is showing 50. All those things. So I believe you understood. So this is how you will be writing the code. Okay, I recommend you to practice all these things in your editors. Maybe if you are using Visual Studio, I recommend you to practice that Visual Studio editor, or maybe you can practice it in some other editor.